Hello everyone, welcome to our next Black Powder game, which we've entitled Supply Run. And as you can see, I'm using my new Geek Villain snow mat because why not? It's Christmas, and we've just got a few additional things on the board, which I'll point out as we go. So we have our snowy landscape. Basically, the objective for this mission, for the French, which is me, is that the supplies, possibly carrying presents, have to get off of this board edge. Now, if they make it off of that board edge, then I will receive 7 victory points. The British, as always controlled by Hayley, who I'll explain how they're coming on in a second, will receive 7 victory points if they capture the supplies, and I'll explain how that works as well. So as you can see, we set the board out, not a huge amount of scenery because this game we want a little bit more movement. And just to clarify, because you occasionally get asked about this, we reduce movement in Black Powder to 9 inches for infantry and 15 inches for cavalry. However, we keep the weapon ranges the same as they are in the rulebook. So 18 inches for a musket and 24 for a rifle and 48 for a cannon. But we're not using artillery in this game because it's not meant to be there's no static positions really apart from this one. But I'll explain what's going on there in a minute. So we're also not playing with broken brigades except if a brigade commander is killed. So if half a brigade if a unit ends up losing half of its troops, it doesn't end up broken, only if the commander is killed. So let's have a look at the forces. So for the French player, in the column which is escorting the supplies, we have the 4th Italian Regiment, we have our supply wagon, we have a unit of Lancers on escort duty, and we have the 2nd Battalion of the 105th, and we just have a brigade commander there. So quite a small brigade. Over on this side, by the farmhouse, we have our overall general. He's over here trying to hold his troops together. We have the 2nd Swiss. We have the brigade commander there, and we just have a unit of Voltigeurs who have decided to billet themselves in the farmhouse. They're trying to keep in the festive mood. They've made a Christmas tree. And their job is to try and make sure that the supplies make it through to their lines and that everyone can have a good Christmas and a glass of wine or port, which is clearly what's being carried in there. Now, on the battlefield, we've got the normal scenery. So we've got some walls which count as impassable and require an order to go through. We have some forests which count as dense terrain. Skirmishers can go through them, but not troops that have formed up. However, we've got some little additions that you may have noticed. So down here, wearing his little grenadier hat, we have one snowman, and we have another snowman up on the hill, which the local town's children have been out and they have made overnight. And basically, for a bit of fun, as it's a Christmas game, we've decided to give these the rule that basically once per game, they can confer the rule Valiant onto a unit within 6 inches. And Valiant means you get to re-roll a failed break test. And once it's used, they're done. So that's it. Now, I placed one and Hayley placed one. And the reason we've done it that way is I've made one of these and Hayley has made one of these. So here's one. And here is the other one. And if you can guess who made which, there's no real prize, but you can have some kind of bragging rights. But that is sort of where we are. Right, as far as the British rules are concerned, Hayley has 2 brigades that are small. Now, she can decide one of them is coming on the first turn, so she will deploy it. And it deploys either in this zone over here or in this zone here, which is split in half. Now, one of her brigades has the 95th Rifles, the Scots Greys, and a standard unit of infantry. I think it's the 69th. The other unit has some Highlanders and 2 standard units of British Line Infantry. The 2nd Brigade will come on in turn 4. There's no rolling for them to come on. They turn up in turn 4. So she's got to decide which quarter half of her side they are starter in. So we'll get to the British deployment. And then we'll kick things off. While Hayley is picking which brigade she's going to bring on, I'll just say, cheers. Right, so after much agonising, Hayley is now deployed. And if you like a sparkly snowflakey headband. Right, so Hayley, what have you got in your first brigade?
So I've got my Scots Greys,
Yeah.
my line infantry, and the 95th Rifles, because they annoy the hell out of you, so they've obviously got to be here. My commander there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so obviously I've done quite well with most of these on the board.
Yeah.
Already, these got quite a good range on them, the Scots Greys.
Yeah, this could be interesting. So I should probably say for the movement of the supplies, they can only move if there's a unit within 3 inches of them, and they move as normal and they move at the speed of infantry, but they are limited to a maximum of 2 moves, so they could go 18 inches in a single turn. However, if I roll a blunder, so double 1, the wheel's fallen off or something, and it takes an extra turn to get it back on. So that's going to be particularly annoying. So yeah, we are pretty much ready to go. Just to clarify, the rules on the buildings just came up before. Basically, the Voltigeurs count as being in this entire area. They don't have flanks or facings or anything like that. So if Hayley attacks here, everyone here still fights against this flank. Everyone here can shoot from any in any direction as well. And when Hayley fires, she fires against the whole unit. So we can have 1 unit in the yard and 1 unit inside the building. I'm just trying to think. I think that's everything. We're ready to go. French have turn 1. So we'll get to it.
Let's go.
Let's go. Right, what a load of rubbish. So we'd already said, oh, maybe it's gonna be really easy for the cart to get off the board, but again, not if you roll like me. So we'll start over here where things went right. Voltigeurs stayed where they are. Brigade commander's quite happy with where they are. He ordered the Swiss up. I tried to get 2 moves to bring them into the gap here, only managed 1. So they formed line adjacent to the building. My general army commander's here because I want to hold this position. Because if I lose this position to Hayley's troops, she's been quite canny here, because if she takes this position, she's going to cut me off. I thought she might start over here and just go for a full frontal attack, but no, she's fought ahead.
Frontals for me today.
No. And then it all went wrong. So the Italians, they managed 1 move down the road, even with their superb command for being on a road and in column. And then I tried to move the cart and rolled an 11, and I'm too far away to use the general's reroll. So the cart couldn't move. I can't move the unit behind it because I need it to be able to move next turn, so I can't move them away. And but because they're in a column, the Lancers did still get their 1 move, so they've moved up. So that's the end of my movement. So I think we'll check for shooting. Actually, Hayley, would you mind? Is anyone within 18 inches of the guys? No. No. Wow. Start as you mean to go on. So that's the end of French turn 1. I'll bet you are. That's the end of French turn 1. So we'll go into British turn 1. Right, end of British turn 2. Interesting. So what have you done?
So I've pushed the line infantry with an attack up to the courtyard.
Okay, so they're fighting in hand-to-hand voltigeurs who missed with both. Oh no, they hit with one of their shots of closing fire, but you saved.
Yeah.
And what happened over here?
So I pushed my infantry towards the Swiss, and they went nope in a square. So they formed square. So I kind of
veered round.
Ran towards them. Went nope. So now we're heading off in the other direction.
Yeah.
95th's the same where they are because they've got quite a good
and they're cowards.
view on both sides. Yeah. They've done you some damage for cowards, my dear, haven't they? Then they can hit from either side there.
Yep.
So
okay.
Martin tried to convince me to get my commander here to team up with these guys. I think he's trying to get me to use my desperation a bit too early.
I was hoping that if he joined in combat and like somehow I do manage to fight off this battalion that he would die, but no such luck. So we'll go into British shooting. So the only unit that the British have that can actually fire is the 95th Rifles who are behind the wall. Who are they going to fire at?
The Italians.
Okay, so they're going to fire at the Italians. So it's just 2 dice hitting on 4s. Okay, so you get to reroll 1 as well if you miss for sharpshooter.
No misses
No,
there.
oh, I need disordered as well. 2 saves of 4. 1 casualty. Okay, so Italians are disordered. They've taken a casualty in the face of the Scots Greys coming at them as well, but they have got their friendly snowman here, just in case they need to take a break test. So that's the end of British shooting. So we'll go into the hand-to-hand combat and the fight over here for the farm and the Christmas tree. Okay, so the British charged, so they have the advantage and get a +1 bonus. So it's +1 to hit, but it's -1 because I'm defending. So they get 6 attacks, needing 4s to hit. I'm fighting back with the voltigeurs, who have 4 attacks, also needing 4s to hit. 6 attacks, needing 4s to hit.
Ooh,
and that one gets rolled again.
Does it?
Yeah, it went out. They still hit.
2
1
hits.
hit.
2 hits.
2 hits. Coming back, there's 4 dice. 2 hits as well. Okay, so the voltigeurs need 2 saves of 2 because they're defending in hard cover. Oh, they still take a casualty. And 2 saves of 4 for the 69th. Oh, 1 casualty each. So, the French scored 1 casualty and they're supported by the square, which is within 6 inches. Giving them a combat result of 2. The British only got 1 casualty and they've got no supports. So the French win! Well, they win the combat anyway. So you need to take a break test, my dear. Okay, so it's a straight up break test. There's no modifiers because Hayley isn't shaken or disordered and there's no excess casualties. So just 2d6. 8. Yeah, okay, they just stay where they are and fight on. So that fight is just going to carry on into next turn. So that is the end of British turn 2. We're going into French turn 3. I need to get a bit of movement with that wagon train because in 2 turns time there's going to be reinforcements turning up on the other side of the board. This is going to be the quickest game of Black Powder ever. I don't know why you're laughing. Sorry, Hayley's just sorting out the ice for a drink. Right, so they can't do anything because they're in combat with them. They can't do anything because they're in square and there's cavalry close to them. They can do some shooting, but they can't move out of that. Italians are disordered. They can't do anything. Now, before I try and move the cart, which was obviously a mistake, I thought I will try and get the Lancers to charge the Scots Greys and push them back a bit. And I failed the order roll, which means I can't then move that. Why are you so nothing on my side has moved at all. So we're just going to go into French shooting. So the Swiss, who are in square, are going to fire at the Scots Greys. Now, they can only fire once from each facing up to their shooting value of 3. So it's only this facing here that can shoot. They're within 6 inches, so they're going to get +1. So I'm hitting on 3. Whee! 1 save of 4. That'll teach you.
Yeah, that's going to learn me. That's going to make all the difference.
Now, my Italians are also going to fire at the Scots Greys. So they're disordered. So it's -1 to their roll. So I've got 3 dice hitting on 5s. On. Oh, no.
1, 2, 3.
Right, so that was the amazing power of the French shooting. Yeah, great, wasn't it? So we will go into the hand-to-hand combat over here. So the Voltigeurs won the last round of combat, so they get +1 to their roll this turn. So they are hitting on 3s. So 4 dice hitting on 3s for the Voltigeurs, 6 dice hitting on 4s for the British. Looking for 3s. 2 hits. 4s, 4 hits. 4 saves of 2 for the Voltigeurs. Oh, all saved. 2 saves of 4 for the British. Oh, another casualty. So, unfortunately, the British have lost to combat. They've taken 1 casualty, and I'm supported to this side. I took no casualties. So, Hayley's just taken a break test again, but with no modifiers. So, as high as you can get with 2 dice. 9, yep, the combat just carries on. I don't really think I can say if that was a good turn or not. I'm managing to hold off. So, the disorder comes off of the Italians, so they can get charged. And we're going to British turn 3. Right, okay, so over here, obviously not much movement because they're carrying on. The 95th Rifles, what have they done, Hayley? They've broken cover.
Snuggled in behind this cart.
And they're going to give fire onto the Swiss.
Yep.
And this was interesting. What happened here?
So I went to charge at the Italians.
Yeah, who promptly
then formed square.
Yeah.
So
you had enough.
Kind of rerouted. I had enough movement to
get the Lancers.
Get the Lancers into a face-to-face.
The Lancers elected to countercharge. So we have met halfway. And there's going to be a big old cavalry action, which I have a horrible feeling is going to may be a bit of a deciding combat. Because if I lose that combat, my column over here on the road is open to cavalry. However, the Scots Greys still have taken a couple of casualties. So we'll go into British shooting and then we'll get onto that combat. So I assume the 95th Rifles are going to fire at the Swiss, yeah?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so 4+ normally, you're within 6 inches, that gives you 3+. However, you're shooting at a square, which means you get another plus, so you're hitting on 2s. So you need 2d6, hitting on 2s, re-rolling 1 miss. 2 hits and they're disordered. Great. 2 saves of 4 for the Swiss. Hey!
Ooh.
So the square is disordered. However, that's it. There is no more shooting, but there is a lot of hand-to-hand combat. So Hayley, it's your turn. Which hand-to-hand combat do you want to do first?
Let's do the courtyard first.
Fight for the courtyard.
Yeah.
Okay. So I won the last round of combat, so I get the +1 bonus. So I've got 4 dice hitting on 3s. You've got 6 dice hitting on 4s. 6 dice for Hayley, hitting on 4s. That's 4 hits. 4 dice for the French, hitting on 3s. 3 hits. 3 saves of 4 for the British. Oh, 2 casualties. Hits. 4 saves of 2 for the French. All saved. So, Hayley has taken 2 casualties. And I'm supported, so I got a combat result of 3 and Hayley did nothing. So I win by 3, so Hayley's testing. However, Hayley is now shaken because she's gone over her stamina limit. And she's got 1 excess casualty of her stamina of 4, so she's -1 to her break test roll. So it's 2d6, you want as high as you can get, but you're -1. Oh dear, so that's 2, that means they've broken.
Okay, right, I'm going to use this snowman's Valiant to re-roll.
Okay, so you get to do the re-roll. They're inspired by the snowman and
Frosty.
by Frosty. Come on, 2d6 -1. That's a 6. I still think that's a pass, but I'll check. Okay, so unit has to retire 1 full move to its rear. They become disordered, and the French are still holding on to the courtyard. So that's quite big for me. That Hayley's attack on this flank has floundered, and now the 95th are somewhat stranded in the middle of a crossfire. So, however, next British turn, the reinforcements are going to turn up. So. Next, we've got the combat over here between the Scots Greys and the French Lancers. Okay, so the Scots Greys, being heavy dragoons, get 8 attacks. They're also heavy cavalry, so they get to add 1 to their combat result. The French Lancers only have 7 attacks, but with their lances, any hits they get do give a -1 to Hayley's morale save. So Hayley has 8 attacks. She charged, so that's +1. So it's 8 attacks hitting on freeze. Wow, 6 hits. I also count as charging, so I've got 7 attacks hitting on freeze. 5. 6 saves of 4 for the Lancers. Oh, 3 casualties, that's enough to shake them. As Hayley pointed out, I did roll a 3 there as well, so it's actually 4 casualties. Alright, smart ass. So now you need 5 saves of 4. -1, so you actually need 5 saves of 5. So you've taken 3 casualties. So I thought I'd got away with that. So as we can see, the Scots Greys have 5 casualties. So they are shaken. So I did 3 casualties on them, and I'm supported for a result of 4. That's why there's 4 dice there. Hayley just did 4 casualties on me. However, I then remembered that they are heavy cavalry, so they get +1 to their result. So Hayley won the combat 5-4. So I am indeed testing. And again, we can't quite get a ruling on this. So because the rules are, if you've lost a combat, then you need to test. However, if you're shaken at the start of the combat, then you need to test even if it's a draw. So the Scots Greys were not shaken at the start of the combat. They became shaken through it. They won it. So what happens to their excess casualties? We're going to play that the excess casualties are just removed. So they're down to their stamina values. They're still shaken, but they're not testing. So the French are testing, and they're going to be -1. So 2d6 -1. Oh no, we're all right on there. No! Am I within range of this Frosty?
I think you're too short.
Oh, God damn it. The Lancers are gone.
Yay!
Okay, because the square of Italians was supporting and the Lancers broke, they also now need to test. So it's 2d6, and I need as high as I can get. 7, so they are going to stay exactly where they are. Okay, so at the end of that combat, the Lancers are gone. Fortunately, because Hayley's unit is shaken, they can't consolidate and do a sweeping advance into the column. I think they might actually have to retire. No, they can't charge anyway while they're shaken. Okay. So until you do a rally move and remove that off of them, the only thing that they can do is do a disorderly retreat to kind of reform. So this is the view of the battlefield. So I've got my turn now before the 2nd British Brigade arrives. So we're now into French turn 4. Okay, so a mixed bag there. The Italians formed a line because they could come out of square because the cavalry no longer pose a threat. And I thought, perfect opportunity to get the cart another 18 inches down the road, and I failed the command roll, and my overall force commander was not within range, which is why he's now moved up and said, get that bloody wagon moving, or however you say that in French. And I'm a bit gutted because obviously we've got a British brigade coming on in this quarter next turn, so I need that to move next turn. So we'll go into British shooting. Now we've got a very maroon 95th rifles here who've already taken 1 casualty, so I only need to put another 2 on them for them to take a break test. And the Italians can hopefully pour some fire into the Scots Greys and see them off. So we'll get straight to it. So we're going to kick things off with the Italians firing at the Scots Greys. It's just a standard 3 dice needing 4s to hit. 2 hits, 2 saves of 4. Oh, 1 casualty, which is enough for them to take a break test. The square is going to shoot at the 95th rifles. Now it's -1 to hit because I'm disordered, and -1 because they're not a clear target. So it's 1 dice hitting on a 6. Come on. The Voltigeurs, inspired by their Christmas tree and the fact that they've seen off the 69th, they're also going to fire on them. So that's 2 dice needing 5s to hit because it's not a clear target. And they get to reroll 1 because they've got a sharpshooter ability. Looking for 5s. And I get to reroll 1. Oh, damn it. Okay, so that's the end of the French shooting. So the British are taking a break test for the Scots Greys. 2d6 -1. Oh, they're gone! 4, that's it. They're gone. And there's no snowman there to help them. Sorry, that sounds a bit too happy about.
Walking in the
They're off. Okay, so a bit of respite there. And now there's no hand-to-hand combat. We go into British turn 4, and the 2nd Brigade has arrived. Right, before we go through that, I'm definitely going to need some of this. So, 1 second. Oh, I'm going to need another one in a minute. Right, okay. So, Hayley, what happens in your turn?
Lots happened. Lots of movement.
Okay, so Hayley's 2nd Brigade entered the board on this side and has just marched all over it. So they all came on in column. Hayley was quite clever there because, of course, that gives them a bonus to their next order roll because it gives them +1. So needing 9 or less. The King's Own. No, not the King's Own. Who are these ones? These are the King's Own. Yeah, they're the King's Own. There we go. So the King's Own marched around the back of the wood. They got 3 moves off and formed line in the face of the Italians. Then the 32nd Cornwall Regiment have moved up and formed line on their flank. And then the Highlanders have moved up and formed line. So I've got some big problems here. I need to get my wagon moving next turn. Otherwise, I'm going to get trapped. On this side, the Colonel went and joined his unit up on the hill. And he has taken a casualty off of them, so they are no longer shaken. So the British forces are sort of renewed. I'm going to hopefully have something left at the end of this turn. What are you drinking now?
Gin and tonic now.
I thought you were drinking Baileys.
That was 10 minutes ago.
All right, and now we're on to gin.
Yep.
Or we're back on to gin.
Onto
You started
gin.
on gin. Right, we started on gin. Right, okay, so British shooting. Where are you going to start? Are you going to start with this brigade over here in the 95th? You want to start over? All right. Okay. We'll be back with you in a second. So who are we starting with on this side?
These guys.
The 69th.
That's
the 69th.
So we had a bit of a...
The 69th.
These men.
So the 69th up on the hill at the Voltigeurs.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, I realised that that's not on them. That's on them. Sorry. Anyway, so firing at the Voltigeurs that are in the courtyard. So you've got first fire, which gives you +1 to dice. You actually get 4 dice off in this first attack. You're not firing at a clear target, which is -1, so it's 4 dice hitting on 5s. Oh, it's disordered them. So 2 hits for Hayley, and they're disordered. So I need 2 saves of 2 because of the hard cover. They both saved. They are stuck in there. You're going to have to get them out. Who in the 95th Rifles going to go for?
They're going to go for the Swiss.
The Swiss? Is that because they're sitting there in the square?
They're just a pain in the arse, basically.
They haven't done anything. They haven't done anything to you.
That's the point. I get to hit them and they're just like sitting in a square.
All right, so that's going to be 2 dice hitting on 2s again. You get to reroll 1 because they're sharpshooters. Oh, and they're disordered.
Yes.
But they're already disordered, so
Double disorder.
never mind. Oh no, that disorder would have come off. Oh well, it stayed on it. Well, it's still on them. So, I need 2 saves of 4. Oh. One casualty. Okay, so what are we going with now?
We're going the King's Own at the Italians.
Okay, are you within 6 inches? Is the middle of the unit within
That's
6 inches of
within
any
6
part?
inches. That's like 4 inches.
All right, okay.
4 inches on the nose.
Right, okay. So, the King's Own, they've got first fire, so that puts them up to 4 dice and within 6 inches, so you're going to be hitting on 3s.
3 hits.
3 hits. 3 saves of 4 for the Italians.
Ooh,
Oh no! 3 casualties, and they've already taken 1 casualty. They're taking a test at the end of a turn. However, I assume that the Cornwall Regiment is shooting at them as well.
Absolutely.
Oh, so let me get these casualties on here. They're going to be taking a break test. Okay, so the Cornwall Regiment is going to fire. They're also no, and see if they're within 6 inches as well. Go on, I'm not taking the risk. So while Hayley's measuring that, now if Hayley's unit was a full right angle to mine, she could enfilade me and she would get bonus rerolls. No, it's from the center of the unit.
That is in.
All right.
That's what she said anyway.
Jesus Christ. How many of those have you had now?
A few.
You're still winning, which is all good. So you need 4 dice because you got first fire, hitting on freeze. Oh, yes. 3 hits well. And disordered. Oh Jesus, yes, disordered and 3 saves of 4. Ooh. All saved but disordered. Okay, I needed that. What are the Scots doing over here? What are the Highlanders doing? They're going to fire at them. Okay, so they get 4 dice because they still have first fire, and they're going to be hitting on 4s. 4 dice hitting on 4s. Ooh, 1 hit, 1 save of. Oh no, it's 1 save of 6 because I'm in the column. Hey!
No way!
What was that?
Lucky bastard.
Right, so they survived. So break test at the end of a shooting phase. The Italians have got to take a break test. They're disordered, which is -1, and they have 1 excess casualty, which is -1. But I do have the snowman right next door. So 2d6 -2. 7 -2 is 5, so they're just going to be retiring. Okay, so end of turn summary. On this side, disorder, and more disorder. So I've just got to basically get that cart moving in the next turn and just try and run the gauntlet of all the British guns there. So we'll now go into French turn 5. Okay, so the only thing I could actually move was the wagon, and I've been a little bit restricted. So, just to confirm, Voltigeurs, disordered. Swiss, disordered. Italians, disordered. So, I elected to move the cart down the road, and my initial roll got 1 success. However, I wanted it to go further, so I chose to use the reroll from the commander, and you have to accept the second result. So if I'd have failed, it would have, that's it. But I got 2 successes, so that's sent off down the road. Now the problem is that under the black powder rules, when there's a unit within 12 inches, you have to effectively turn and face. You can't just a unit wouldn't just carry on walking in column and just get shot in the sides. So I've elected here to form line so I can give fire. Basically, I don't think the cart can make it off. It's further than 18 inches to the end of the board. Those initial failures have cost me a little bit. But I can try and keep it out of Hayley's hands. That's the main thing. So just remember, if Hayley is within 3 inches of it, she owns it. She gets 7 points. If I get it off the table, I get 7 points. If neither of those happen, then it's just down to who's destroyed and shaken at the end of the game. So we're just going to get into French shooting. So we'll start over here with the Voltigeurs, and I think it's time to see off the 95th Rifles. So I'm not within 6 inches, so I've got 2 dice. I'm disordered, which is -1, so I'm hitting on 5s for that, minus another 1 because they're not a clear target. I'm hitting on 6s, but I do get to re-roll 1 for being sharpshooters. So 2 dice, hitting on 6s. Oh, I get to re-roll 1, no. Yes, they're disordered and a casualty. So 1 save of 3 because you're in cover. But they are disordered. My Swiss are going to do exactly the same, and they are also hitting on a 6. Nope. I'm going to try and get some payback here. The Italians are going to fire at the King Zone. They're shaken, which is -1. The disordered counts as well, but it's -1 for being shaken or disordered. So I've got 3 dice hitting on 5s. 1 hit, 1 save of 4. Second Battalion of the 105th are going to fire at the Cornwall Regiment. That's 3 dice hitting on 4s. Here we go. Oh, 3 hits and they're disordered. 3 saves of 4 for the Cornwall Regiment.
Oh!
Okay, that was big. But they are disordered, so they ain't moving next turn. Okay, so not a big turn for the French. So into the French turn, all my disorder has come off. There's no break test to be taken. 95th will be testing because they're elite to get rid of that disorder. King's Own can move. Cornwall Regiment can't move. And the Highlanders can move. So I might have to kiss one of these regiments goodbye. But will they get hold of the cart? We'll see. We're going to British turn 5. Lots of action over here. The farmhouse. So the 69th pulled themselves together, charged down the hill into the Voltigeurs. The Voltigeurs got 2 hits in closing fire, but the 69th shrugged them both off. And so we're refighting the battle for the courtyard there. 95th Rifles removed their disorder, as we knew they would, and they're going to stay there being annoying, which is what they do best. Colonel's moved up in support, but he's not actually joined the combat, crucially. He's just there to help out if needed. Over here, the King's Own, what did they want to do again? Oh, yes, you wanted to form up on the opposite side of the road to the Italians within 3 inches of the cart. But what happened?
Didn't happen.
No, they failed their order test. And Hayley did something crucial, which, as this is now our 6th game, I'm not reminding her about, is Hayley's brigade commander is back here. He's out of the 12 inches of the overall commander-in-chief, so he doesn't get the re-roll. So Hayley's British forces here are marooned for this turn, but remember she still has a turn after this. I've only got one more, so we're into British shooting. Okay, so what was that?
I said I just want to kill you.
Me or well, this?
Them.
Okay, so who are the 95th shooting at? I take it they're going for the square again, the Swiss. 2 shots hitting on 2s, re-rolling a miss if you actually miss. Does a miss?
Don't sound too excited.
2 saves of 4 for the Swiss. Come on.
Oh,
so they're shaken now. They're shaken as well.
Get rid of...
So 105th next. Who are they going to shoot at?
Well, I've been told it's just the French, so we're going to fire.
Oh no, right, yeah.
The French.
Well, it's not wrong, is it? Who's shooting at? The French.
Well, I asked who I'm shooting at, and you said the French, so.
All right.
Fire at the French.
Okay, so you're going to get 3 dice. You're going to be hitting on 4s. Oh, just the 1 hit. So 1 save of 4 for the 105th.
Ooh.
Damn it, casualty. So I assume all 3 of these are shooting at the same regiment, yeah?
Absolutely. I'm gonna...
Right. Okay.
They're never seeing their families
right.
again.
All right, Jesus. Bloody hell. Right. It's a bit brutal. This is like a Christmas game. This is meant to be like a festively fun game. You're not going home to your family at Christmas.
War doesn't know it's Christmas.
Jesus. Right, okay. So the Cornwall Regiment are disordered, so they're hitting on 5s. Oh, they're disordered, and 1 save of 4.
Ooh,
No, another casualty. And the Highlanders, yep, so that's 3 dice hitting on 4s. Already disordered, 2 hits, 2 saves of 4. I need to save at least one of these or I'm taking a break test. Yeah, 1 casualty, so they're shaken now. I've run out of casualty markers, I've got to use the cannon casualty. So these guys are shaken, these guys are shaken, these guys are shaken. So Hayley's got some points I don't really know what to do. I've just got to try and remove some casualties, I think. So break test wise, I haven't got any break test to take, so there's no excess casualties. So we're just into the hand-to-hand combat over here. And can the Voltigeurs hold off to 69th? So Hayley charged, so she gets 6 dice. +1 to hit, so Hayley gets 6 dice, hitting on 3s. I get, it's -1 though, because of the cover. And then it's me, I get 4 dice hitting on 4s. 6 dice hitting on 4s for the 69th. 5 hits. 4 dice hitting on 4s for the Voltigeurs. Just 2. 5 saves of 2 for the Voltigeurs for the hard cover. No! 2 failed. They're going to be taken. Well, they might not be, but that's 2 casualties. They are shaken. 2 saves of 4 for the 69th.
Yes.
Oh, oh dear. So the French took 2 casualties, and they are the French took 2 casualties, and the 69th are supported by the 95th Rifles. So the British scored 3, and the French didn't cause any casualties. 1 support. So I am testing. So it's just 2d6 minus 1 because I've got 1 casualty in excess. Oh no! No, wait. No, there's no rerolls. There's no test. The Voltigeurs are gone. They reformed on the hill. They charged down. They couldn't hold them off for long. They couldn't hold them off for long. So Hayley now, once they're gone, can occupy that position if she chooses, which I believe.
Looks warm in there.
Yeah, it looks warm, and they want that Christmas tree. Okay, so over here we can see the 69th for taking those positions. I think I need to move my colonel away. They're disordered, so I'm not going to be able to move them out of the square. It's just a bit...
Brilliant.
Bit buggered, really. I think I'm just going to try and cut my losses, remove some shaken tokens off, and just try and limit the number of points, because at the moment I think Hayley has the edge. Okay, so yes, I was somewhat limited, seeing as all my units were either disordered or shaken. So the colonel who was in the farm joined the Swiss unit, so he's retreated to this square, and he rallied them and removed their shaken result. Over here, the colonel did the same. He's joined the Italians and removed that. Over there, the 1/5 can't do anything. So I'm in a bit of a tricky situation. So I can't move the cart, because when a commander does a rally test, that's the last thing he does that turn. So you can't rally someone and then try and move that unit. So basically what I've got to try and do is pour fire into the British, shake them, force them to take tests or disorder them, so they can't move within 3 inches of that. Now obviously if I'm within 3 inches as well, I can test it, but I'm going to have to just try and hold off and limit Hayley's points. So we'll go into French shooting. So we'll start with the square, who are going to fire 1 shot of a 95th, hitting on a 6. Yes!
Jesus.
So they're disordered, and it's a save of 3.
Yes.
But they are disordered. Now my Italians are going to fire at the King's Own. So it's just 3 dice, hitting on 4s. Come on. They're disordered, and 2 saves of 4. Oh, 1 casualty. And the 1/5 are going to fire at the Cornwall Regiment. They're shaken, which is -1. So 3 dice, hitting on 5s. Oh, I've just rolled 2 of your dice, but I only got 1 hit, and that was on my dice anyway. So you need 1 save of 4. Yes, a casualty. So that was the last French turn. So I can take off the Swiss disorder. Not that's going to matter. So really it's just over to Hayley. Hopefully she doesn't get rid of the disorder on the 95th. It's quite big that unit can't move. So I think that the cart is not going to be contested. So Hayley's just going to try and drive off now as many people as she possibly can. So just to summarise the British turn, Hayley, what happened?
Nothing.
Nothing?
Nothing.
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 You wanted to move a bit closer to these guys, but
Nothing happened.
nothing happened. I shouldn't sound so happy because I'm about to get it done by a wall of 5. We're still going to pummel me. The 95th Rifles didn't manage to remove their disorder either. So we'll just go into British shooting. Hopefully there's going to be a lot of misses. That's all I can say. That's what I have to hope for. So do you want to start on this side?
Yep.
So the 69th who are in the farmyard, I take it they're shooting at the square.
Absolutely.
They're within 6 inches. So that's going to be 3 or more to hit. 2 or more to hit because it's a square, so 3 dice hitting on 2s. all of them, and they're disordered again. So 3 saves of 4. 1 casualty. So they are shaken. 95th Rifles, I take it they're going at the square as well.
Absolutely.
And now they're -1 this time because of the disorder. So it's actually 2 shots hitting on 3s, but re-rolling 1 miss. Also, you can re-roll that.
Yes.
Oh, I forgot to put the disorder on last time. But yeah, there we go. So
Double
2
disorder.
saves of 4. Oh, come on.
Oh,
It's definitely a break test. So who are the King's Own going to shoot at? I think they have to fire... No, it's these guys who are closer. So they've got to fire at the 105th. So they're -1. So it's 3 dice hitting on 5s. 1 hit, 1 save of 4. Nice saved. So Cornwall Regiment, I mean, just be honest, both those units are now fighting and shooting at them, aren't they? So the Cornwall Regiment, that's 3 dice hitting on 4s. 2 saves of 4. Yes, oh, they're holding out, because it's good as well, because the thing is, if they take 1 more casualty, they're taking a break test. Highlanders have come on. They're used to the cold. So 3 shots hitting on 4s. Oh, all of them, and a disorder. 3 can I make it? Could be the 3rd lot. 3 saves of 4. Yes! Amazing. They held out. Right, so they're already disordered. I'm not going to bother putting down the casualties. Well, there weren't any. However, I do need to roll a break test for these guys over here. So the Swiss, they've got taken 5 casualties and they're disordered. So the disorder is -1 to the break test. They've got 2 excess casualties. So it's 2d6 -3. It's not good. 7 -3 is 4. They're gone. They're out of there. Oh dear, hang on a second. We'll get it.
I'll help you with those.
Okay, so this is the view at the table at the end of the game. So we'll work out some points, but again, I think I've got an idea of how this has gone. But it was good. So we'll work out the points and I'll come back to you. Right, okay, so interesting result. Basically, nobody got the points for the supply wagon. I just got to say as well, I do love this model. This is Perry Miniatures, and I finished this week, basically for this battle report. But I've wanted one of these supply wagons for a while. But isn't that just a nice model? Anyway, that didn't help me, did it? So I didn't get it off the board, so I didn't get the 7 points for that. But Hayley also didn't capture it by getting a unit near it, so she doesn't get the points. I destroyed the Scots Greys, which gives me 2 points. I also get 1 point for everyone who on Hayley's side who is shaken. Is there anybody shaken?
No.
No. So I finished on 2 points. Hayley, on the other hand, destroyed my Lancers. She destroyed the Voltigeurs and she destroyed the Swiss, which gives her 6 points, and the 105th are shaken. And if you're keeping count, that means that means that Hayley got 7 points to my 2, which yes does mean that for the Christmas game 2020. What do you mean a whitewash? It's whitewash. So yes, Hayley won 7-2, which if you're again keeping score out of our games, we played 6 games.
5-1, isn't it?
Yeah, 5-1. I won the one with the bridge. You've won everything else. So, anyway, I got to say, I think your decision to come on that side of the board basically is what won it for you, because you come on with your elite units on this side and you're able to swing around and effectively stall all my units here. And that's what caused me the problem.
On this side of the board, I was going to be chasing you for a majority of the game.
Yeah, I mean, also my terrible rolls here that held them up just meant I had a bunch of sitting.
Rolling always helps. I can't take credit for your terrible rolling, but it does always help. But
no, it is a good game. But
yeah.
What we'll we have got a little should we say it's not a contest, is it? We've got a little opinion, a bit of contest. There's just no prize. Do you want to put them together? So here we have the stars of our battle report, these two amazing snowmen. So these were made by Hayley and myself. We made one each. We have the chap on the left with his stunning tinsel scarf and green stuff hat, which is being lovingly dry brushed with a bit of Dark Reaper to bring out some edge highlights. I really think that's Golden Demon, you know, worthy. And then we have the little guy on the left with that cheeky little smile and the French Grenadiers hat. So I'll put a poll up on the channel, on the community page, and we just very simply want to know which one is best. We are totally not having a little competition between ourselves. There is not a bet going on, but yeah, go on, go over to that. I'll put it up straight after the battle report. Let us know which one you think is better, and then maybe I'll let you know which one was made by who. Yeah, we really hope you've enjoyed this battle report. Give us 2 seconds, and we just need to refill our drinks, I think. We just wanted to say Merry Christmas. Cheers. We hope you've enjoyed the games we've had this year. This is actually the first time, I think, on any videos. I've just chucked some drink on the floor. Probably. This is the first time in any videos where we've actually stood next to each other. So it's
the first time we've probably stood
it's probably the first time we've stood next to each other anyway. But anyway, thank you for watching the videos. We really hope you guys have a good Christmas wherever you are, and we'll do more videos in the future. Goodbye to a crappy 2020. Here's to 2021. Cheers. Merry Christmas.
Cheers.
Cheers, everyone.